Welcome back to Let's Talk About Sex with Stephanie Smith. I am Stephanie, your host, and I am here today with, again, Lewis was on once time before, and I intend to have him on as much as possible to give people some insight and a place to go. So let me introduce him first. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the incredible, because I think he is, being his age and all that he's done, a passionate mindset, business, and relationship coach dedicated to helping business owners enhance their lives and careers. With a focus on unlocking your full potential, Lewis specializes in finding purpose and overcoming mental, emotional, strategic, and leadership blocks, ultimately leading to more success, love, and fulfillment. So I welcome back Lewis Huckstep. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me for round two, and such a beautiful energy that you have, as I complimented that last time. So pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to diving into wherever this goes, and hopefully adding some value to some people.
Yeah. Well, as you know, I am a sex positive, platform. I like to give couples, primarily couples my age group, or even ones that are not, ideas on how to spice things up in their relationship through fantasy, through, having you on and helping people through different types of things in their lives, and just to honestly have the best, healthiest sex life they can through health, because you need to be healthy to have good sex, right? And through, having good sex. So, because that's the ultimate goal, is we want to be healthy and have good sex and have a good relationship. So one of the reels that you did that I really love, because I do, as I was saying to you before, but I want to tell all the guys that I like to talk to, and I have lots of guys that reach out to me. I mean, because they're lost. They're like, I don't know what to do, and so I always answer them, and then I always refer them back to your platform, Lewis, to understand women better. I also say that you and your fiance have a nice way that you communicate. I also talk about how, some of your things that your foundational rules of a relationship, and are they having those in their relationship? And so because I love all these things that, I watch you, and I love your stuff. So, I like to reference people back to these areas, because a lot of people are not taught how to have good relationships. Okay. And we're not told that we need to actually be in good sounding space here, and that our partner needs to either be in it or be willing to reach that, and then together doing it together, which is what we talked about last time. And I loved that. So anyone who missed that, please go back to our other podcast about that. But Lewis covers that incredibly well. So today we're going to talk about the 4 tips for an incredible sexual relationship, for better orgasms, for more fulfillment. So you have the 4 tips, so you're going to tell us about it.
Beautiful. Look, to be real, there's many more than 4. I've made a couple reels, kind of just sort of throwing some tips in there, and a lot of my content, I'm just speaking to myself, to be honest, and they're things that I've learned and downloaded through my own work, my own awareness. Obviously, working with a lot of coaches myself. I'm constantly working with coaches. I just came back from a 6-day intensive event, which was very, very intense and very deep. So,
Nice.
the video that you're referring to, I think I posted it not too long ago, maybe a week or so ago, and they're just 4 tips that have really served me on my journey. I did a sexual mastery for men program, I think 12 months ago, and the very first the first module outside of the 4 tips I'm about to go into was stop watching pornography. That was the very first one. So that wasn't one of the tips, but that's also a side note for people. Not necessarily stop it completely, depending on the context and the intention and the type that you're doing it from, but we can talk about that later if you want to. the 4 tips that you're referring to. Number one is clearing out any mental blocks, because if you've got anything that you have shame around, that you're hiding from your partner, that you're not expressing, it manifests internally and it manifests externally as a disconnect from your head to your body. And when we get into our bodies in the bedroom, when we actually ideally open up to be vulnerable and actually express and explore every inch of who we are and every inch of our partner, it requires that level of embodiment of actually being in your body and not in your head. So if you've got this thing around, you've lied to your partner, you've even maybe cheated on your partner, or you're hiding something from your partner, or you are watching porn and you're hiding that, or whatever it is that you're hiding or have shame around, it's going to energetically show up in the bedroom. And I've had experiences with that early on in my relationship, where there were some things that I wasn't showing my partner, that I was watching porn early on in our relationship. I was not being as honest as I could be with my presence with her, with being attracted to other women with my partner and trying to hide that from her. And then it would just manifest with this very, not fake sex, but just not fully conscious connected sex. And it's more of a performance rather than an embodiment. So yeah, definitely having the tough conversations is where I would get started for anyone listening to this. So whatever you have shame around, or you hide, or that you're not being open and vulnerable about, just book in a really open conversation with your partner along the lines of just saying, hey, hun, baby girl, I would love to really connect with you and just open up with you. I'm really working myself. I've just listened to this fucking amazing podcast with Stephanie Smith and this awesome dude from Australia. And I really want to be open and vulnerable and real with you. Can we book in like a couple of hours just to have some time together and connect and open up? And for yourself as well, for the conversation, I'd love for you to think about anything that you want to open up and get off your chest, so we can really clean things out. So that was the first one. Thinking off the top of my head, number 2 was, I believe, explore. I think it was explore or slow. Oh no, it was the sex around the
Build up.
Yeah, the build up. So one of the other tips I got from that same program was the analogy of men versus women when it comes to intimacy. And she used her name's Kiminami. If anyone wants to go look down her stuff, I really enjoyed it. Kiminami, Kimani, if I hopefully spelled that right. And she uses the analogy of men versus women when it comes to sexual energy and the build up. And men are very quick to build up. We can turn on really quickly. She uses a matchstick as the example. We can light really quickly, but we can go out pretty quickly. When we have our orgasm, when we ejaculate, we're pretty much like go limp, and then we want to roll over and take a nap. That's kind of men. Where women are more like boiling water, where it takes a while to warm things up and to heat things up, but then you can stay heated for a very long period of time, have many, many, many orgasms. And men can have multiple orgasms, which I'll get to later on in the podcast. But yeah, that's just understanding that. And then when you get in the mood for the men, you get really horny, you're in the zone, you want to rock and roll, and your partner's still warming up, she's still a bit cold. It's like we get that frustration, or she doesn't find me attractive, or she's not as sexually active as I want her to be. It's like, no, you just haven't warmed the oven up. You just haven't boiled the water. So doing things around the bedroom, whether it's the cute little touch, the kiss on the ear, the whisper on the breath on the neck, the whisper in the ear, the little bum grab, the little touch across the cock or across the vulva as you're walking past each other. It's like just doing those nice little touches around the house, depending when you see your partner, whether it's some flirty messages, maybe it's some photos you want to go experience together, some sexual words you want to share with each other about ripping each other's clothes off, or whatever it is. It's just building that suspense and heating for the women, heating them up. So it's like when you're ready to roll, you're ready to roll. So that's been really helpful, especially for my partner, because she's still on her journey as me with our own healing, our own sexual healing, and being able to just, because I pretty much experienced everything I just said of like, I'm like really horny, I want to go, let's do it. And she's like she's kind of performing to do it because she's not really in the mood. And towards the end where I'm almost finished, she's still just warming up. So it's been able to then, you're both at a boiling point and you can both really sort of rip into it together.
Hold on. I want to go back to this one. I want to jump in on this one. Just some other ideas with regards to ways to bring up that mood and whatnot. Some women like to cook together. You guys can cook together. You can make it fun cooking together. You can do it naked. You can play around while you're cooking. even doing laundry, making the bed, there's so many things that I think that you should really take into playfulness, a lot of playfulness, not just the whole touching, getting it kind of going. All that other stuff is built up for women as well. um, I think even like taking a walk, sometimes women just get it turned on by just getting a walk, let me go take you, and I'm going to take you to see the sunset, and we're going to walk and see that. And it's like, it's a turn on for women. And so there's a lot of things that I think that men can learn from that way, of that kind of a buildup. It's not always, I need to take them out for a date. I got to spend the money, and everyone's got to get ready, and everyone's nice and clean. And then no, it doesn't always have to be that way. And it does, and it shouldn't always be that way. But we do need to have the little kisses, the little rubbing, the massages, the touching, the the going up behind and grabbing, and whatever, like what you were saying. But just, you can speed that up a little bit too, and getting some of that connection together. I have a swing at my house. A swing. Women love swings. Every woman that comes here gets on my swing. And it just brings this like childlike attitude. So bring things like, you can have a swing. Like I was taking a walk yesterday, and I saw a swing for two, like a big one for both of you, just to lay. Things like that are just built, all that stuff, laying there, talking, looking at the sun, the stars, the whatever. So things like that, aside from all the little touching and the little kissing and all of that, all those other things are really building connections between each other. So I love that. And one thing I wanted to ask you, I'd love to hear, I think the listeners will too. I know you're going to not be able to do all of them, but maybe you'll come back and or put together something that you can do for men along those lines of that course that you went to, so that people could really understand. Because I have so many, like I said, so many guys that just don't know what to do and are really feeling lost. But I think if they had a place and a platform to go to, and where they're all feeling the same, it would feel really good. So, you know what I mean? More men reach out to me than females. So that's just it. They want to fix it. Okay. And the females are just like, doesn't he know? It's like, no, he doesn't. And I constantly say that he just doesn't know.
Yeah.
So, okay, you were taking some notes. Do you want to?
Yeah, no, one of the words that really came through me as you were speaking about like the other ways to sort of warm up the water is presence. That's what women want from men. That's what the feminine yearns for and craves from men. So whatever it's like saying, doing the washing together, doing the cleaning together, going to the beach together, playfully playing together, just being with each other. It's women want presence. They want that they're masculine or they're man, and this can be heterosexual or bisexual. It doesn't matter. It's whoever's the masculine is the feminine wants that level of presence from the masculine. So that was just one of the notes that I took down as you were talking.
Very good. That's a very good option. And you're right, 100%. They do. They want presence. Yeah. So, and and people are requiring it more. I feel like people are becoming more enlightened in the world today, and we're becoming more enlightened people about needing to take care, self-care, to make sure that we take care of ourselves, not only for ourselves, but for our partner, for our kids, for our grandkids, for whatnot. So, which wasn't taught before. So things are really changing, I think, for the better. So it's just going to be that little change that we have to do. So, okay. So the next one, slow things down. What do you do to slow things down?
Yeah, beautiful. So I teach the polyvagal theory, or I teach a version of that. It's just your vagus nerve and how that influences your nervous system. You've got your autonomic nervous system, just to keep it in basic terms. It's your nervous system that controls all your unconscious functions, your heartbeat, your lungs, your digestive system, and all that stuff. And you've got two branches of that. You've got the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. For anyone that's done any sort of like mindset, self-development, you've probably heard these terms before. So the parasympathetic is I'll do that one first. The sympathetic, I just think of the S as scared. So the sympathetic is your fight or flight. So it's like you're defensive, a tiger walks in, you're going to defend yourself. It's like your survival instincts, essentially. So there's fight and flight. And on the other side, the other branch is your parasympathetic. I think as P for pausing or slowing things down. So your parasympathetic is responsible for freeze. So like some people freeze. So it's like it slows your heartbeat down and you freeze to let the tiger not see you. You've got the rest and digest. So when you're actually safe to calm the fuck down and be relaxed and feel safe, your digestive system can actually work properly. And off topic, little tangent. How many people are super stressed, super anxious, and then how many people have so many fucking gut issues these days? They're interesting because you're not in parasympathetic. Your digestive system's not working properly because you're always constantly trying to defend yourself from a tiger because you're just stressed and anxious. But that's a conversation later. Then the third piece the parasympathetic is connection, because that's all we generally yearn for as human beings, as a tribe. We want to feel loved and connected and a part of community. Now, if you're not in parasympathetic, then you're not deeply sinking into connection. And the ultimate form of connection is sex, especially for women, because you're surrendering and you're actually releasing and letting go. So if you're in your head, especially for women and men as well, because I've certainly been in myself as well, if you're in your head around your performance and you're having to please your woman and having to do X, Y, Z because of whatever you've watched or you've been conditioned to be like in the bedroom, the woman has to please, the man has to dominate, the man has to take control and flip them all over and do all these positions and just have sex like a jackhammer for 30 minutes straight without pausing or breaking or switching. It's like you've got to, and these are all the conditions I've had to work through. But if you're in your sympathetic, if you're in the stressed or scared response, you're not able to actually sink into actually deep, conscious, embodied connection. So simple way to do that is breath work. So we don't do this we just do this when we need to, because me and my partner do a lot of work together. We work from home, so we get to spend a fair bit of time together, and we feel so safe around each other because we've been doing so much healing and growth, and we're in a fair bit of sync. But early on, like definitely not. Like I've had times with my partner, even a year or 2 years into our relationship, where I struggled to even get my cock up for sex with my partner after 2 years, because I was still having my stuff come to the surface. I was still having my performance anxieties come up, my lack of connection come up, and that was after 2 years of being with her. And we haven't had that for about 2 years. We've been together about 4 years now. And back then, when I was having those those blocks, because I still had those mental blocks I hadn't cleared out, there was still some shame that I had around myself, around it, and it was showing up. You can see how step one leads into the step as well. Because if you've got this shame and guilt and shit you're hiding, then you're going to be, oh my God, what if she figures out I don't know what I'm doing and I feel like I'm a piece of shit and whatever. So again, you're not in parasympathetic. So to do that, we'd do breath work. So there's a yum position where you sit kind of cross-legged with each other, ideally completely naked if, and obviously hopefully you feel comfortable to do that with your partner, is you sit pretty much cross-legged on each other. So woman on the man's lap, and you put your hand on each other's heart. You stare into each other's eyes, so eye gazing, and you breathe into unison together. So I breathe and I focus personally on feeling the rise of her chest and her heartbeat, and she does the same. And we just keep breathing like that. And you just do that for a couple of minutes. 1, it makes you super fucking connected with your partner. 2, it calms, because if you're doing slow breathing. So whenever you want to tap into parasympathetic, the easiest breathwork pattern to remember is just to breathe slower on the way out. So if you think of like someone having a panic attack, they're really short, shallow, fast. So just to tap a little bit more into your parasympathetic to actually chill out is breathe in slow, all of it slow, but just breathe out slower. So we're breathing in, and then we're breathing out through your lips, and you're breathing out just a little bit slower. So you're eye gazing, you're fully connected, you're present with each other, you're connected with each other, you're slowing things down, and you just do that for a couple of minutes. And then if you do that right, you'll feel a lot more connected. Your walls will come down. You'll be more vulnerable. You'll be more open. You'll be more connected. And then you can start to explore. And taking another sort of addition onto this is to take the mindset off orgasm. Like take the goal off that. It's like, don't get so fixated on that, right? Like, enjoy the exploration. Like, be so curious to explore every inch of your partner. The back of their knees, their bum, obviously their genitals, their nipples, their neck, their ears. Like, just be so beautifully curious about exploring. Obviously, having that beautiful conversation back and forth. What feels good for you? What do you want more of? What do you want less of? And a lot of men, if you've got that sort of performance anxiety, will probably struggle with that. And I did definitely early on. When she'd give me feedback, I'd take that, oh, I must be shit. I must not be good at what I'm doing. She's telling me what she wants. It's like, no, she's just literally giving you the answers to the test. She's actually helping you perform, right? And helping you get better, right? So it's like, take the feedback, lower the ego, hence the breath work, and help you do that.
See, that's really good that you just said, because I didn't even think that that's what guys would think, but that is a very good point that you bring up. Yeah. Women don't mean to do that, so that's good. Thank you I just wanted to make sure okay, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And good. From your point before, like you're saying, like, women think men should know what they're doing, and men think they should know what they're doing. In reality, everyone's just trying to figure their fucking shit out, and everyone's different. Every man, every woman has their own kinks, their own pleasures, their own sweet spots, their own desires, their own fetishes. It's like, how the fuck are you meant to know? Like, by exploring and having having some just asking, hey, what feels really well for you? What feels alive for you right now? And having that conversation. And again, early on, probably still that sort of 2-year period into our relationship, it's I was still sort of figuring that out and probably taking things a little bit more personally than I should. Like, oh my God, like, fuck, oh babe, that doesn't feel that great. Can you do that instead? Oh fuck, I'm shit at this. I should be better at this. And it's like, and those are things I was experiencing. I'm sure a lot of men can relate to that as well. So yeah, slow things down is the summarize of it. So do some breath work, some connection, some grounding, especially if you've been stressed, especially if there's some anxiety going around, especially if you guys haven't been connecting regularly, like maybe you guys work and you don't see each other that often, to just make sure you guys are connected. Another point on that, which wasn't in those steps, is at least 90 minutes per week of genuine presence and connection. They did the study, I think it was Jordan Peterson said it. It was 90 minutes is what's needed for genuine, authentic connection in a relationship, in a partnership. So it doesn't have to be a 90-minute block. It can be, like, maybe your schedules are hectic and maybe that is what you've scheduled in, but at least 90 minutes throughout the week of actual presence, and like what we were talking about before, not just watching it could be watching a movie together if you guys are present with each other, but if you're kind of watching TV, one person's on their phone, one person's distracted, it's like, that I don't call that presence. So where you're actually completely connected and present with each other, 90 minutes throughout the week will add to this. So yeah, that's step 3, slow things down, and hopefully got some tips out of that one. And then number 4, which is my fave, is the healing your wounds. So whenever you've got a trauma or a wound psychologically, what you'll do is you'll build a wall and a shield or armor to protect it, so it doesn't get hurt again. And that's very just compensation, trauma responses, very sort of psychological stuff. And when we are in the bedroom, being intimate, having sex, it's like the ultimate version of surrendering and opening up, because you're being seen in all of your glory with no clothes and your fullest expression. And if you've got all of these unhealed traumas, which we all have, we're all always healing and continuously healing. But if you feel unsafe if you've got unhealed trauma, you will want to protect that wound or trauma. So you'll build a shield up. So therefore you'll be unsafe. So you'll be back into sympathetic, not parasympathetic. So you'll be putting on a mask. You won't be surrendering, especially important for the women to actually fully surrender. If you want those deep embodied cervical G-spot orgasms, you got to really surrender, and especially for cervical orgasms, is really let go of control, depending how you frame it, but control in this context is just compensation from past hurt. I love the quote, past hurt informs future fear. So if you've been through hurt before, you got a trauma or a wound there, you don't want to experience it again. So you'll perpetuate that into the future and therefore be fearful of it happening again. So say you've had sex with a man and he's hurt you before. You're in a bad relationship and the man like dominated you in a bad way, unconsensually, maybe you've been abused sexually. It's like you've been through that past hurt, so you don't feel that hurt again. You're going to put the walls up and shut off and not fully surrender. However, yes, it protects you from that pain, but it also stops you from feeling the full spectrum of what sex has to offer. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. It keeps you in what you believe is safe, but it also perpetuates that past pain, and it also prevents you from exploring to your full depths. So it's a bit of a paradox there. So heal through your shit so you don't need the walls and the armor anymore is the summary of this conversation. And yeah, that's step 4.
I want to say about this because I am hearing a lot, a lot of people come and send me messages. But with women and men, especially when women are healing from trauma, or men or couples, same sex, it doesn't matter, anybody. If you're a person who's not going to be patient and willing to work through that with that person to get to where you're saying that they need to be, which is in that safe, comfortable space so that they can open up truly to that partner, then you should really not be in that relationship, because I do see people rushing. How long will it take this person? How long? And it's not a rush. It's about what they need to go through. Now, I think you can always set limits on things and how we're going to work through things. But if they've got some deep wounded things, it's important to acknowledge them, right? I mean, we need to be kind about that and let them work through that. So sex might not be right away, or might not be as often. It might be more infrequent. That's what I'm saying. And that's where these people think that, well, she was a high libido and now she's a low libido, and I don't know. But these things happen as people start opening up. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, beautiful. It's the more you heal, it's a good conversation. And just to frame this, I'm definitely not an expert from the women's side, so I'm just sort of speaking what I've learned from my journey so far, and I learned from other experts in this. From what I understand, and this is from Kim and Army's work, so if you guys want to go consume her stuff, she validates this and she teaches this a lot more in depth than what I do. But a fully healthy, embodied woman loves sex. A fully healthy one who is in their body, they've done a lot of healing through their stuff. They're physically healthy, like they're not eating fucked up foods, they're training well, they're embodying their feminine, they're connected with their sisterhood. They're again, health is quite obviously, there's a bit of a checklist when it comes to health, right? But a fully healthy woman loves sex. And I'm not a woman, so I can't speak on the behalf of women.
No, you're 100% right, though. Yes.
From my experience, yes, that's what I believe and I subscribe to. And my partner and I, we're the healthiest we've ever been. We've done the most amount of healing we've ever done, and we'll continue to do that. And our sex just gets better and better and better and better. And that's where I love the depths that a relationship can offer if you do commit to a journey with someone. Is like I just came back. I did a 6-day event last week, and it was fucking hectic. It was it was a very trauma healing event, and I've got one of them next to me. So one of these sheets essentially is like a process of unpacking a trauma. So it's I actually did this one on Georgia. So
wow.
whenever a trigger reveals the trauma, and your partner is going to trigger you more than anyone else. I think we spoke about this in the first podcast, and she triggers me of being invalidated. So that was what she triggers in me. And this line, remember, nothing triggers you, it reveals what's inside of you. So she revealed a wound in me of being invalidated or not seen or not enough. So I did the process on it, and that took me this process took me 4 hours to unpack that. So 4 hours to dissolve, and that's 4 hours of focused work, not getting fucking distracted, whatever. And anyways, so I did 4 of those processes last week during this event. So big week of just healing and unpacking my shit. And especially after I did that one, so I did that process on Georgia, our sex that night was fucking epic. And then the next day was better. And then the next day was better. And the next day was better. It's we just had a growth, a sex growth week in the last week.
Great.
Because I was working through my shit. And I'm a coach that, thank you. And I'm a coach that teaches healing stuff, and I'm still healing through my stuff. And the more she does on her, that whenever we do transformational work, whether it's a psychedelic journey, a plant medicine journey, a DeMartini process, a holographic process, which is what that was, it's we just feel more authentic, our walls come down more, and therefore we can explore and express more of who we are to each other in a safe environment, because we're connected, because we're healthy and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know where your question was, to be honest. I just kind of ran with that, but
no,
keep doing your work.
That was beautiful, because Um, you were very authentic. You're actually sharing some personal experiences that shows that you're still going through things, because as coaches and people who are doing this type of work, we're still continually on a growth thing. And what you said, that you were real, I mean, like, everything you said, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to benefit. They're going to benefit. They're going to benefit. They're going to benefit. I mean, that's all I kept on thinking, is like, oh my God, this is so great, because of all these people who I work with, you know. So when I work with people, I guess I do work with people, but everyone I work with pro bono. I don't charge anyone. It's been, I worked my whole life, and this is my ikigai, as I've told you. So, but what you said was just impactful. So I love that. And especially the part that you admitted that you weren't doing well eating healthy, get healthier. You saw an improvement in your sex life. It goes to show exactly what I say, that sex is better when you're healthy. And look what you're saying, when your mind is healthy too. Look at that, clearing that type of that invalidating, that thing, not feeling validated. That comes from ADHD too, because we've been invalidated our whole life. And so, but that is huge in a relationship. So you being able to conquer that and move past that is huge. And being able to teach other people who have ADHD, and who I know in my life, that are ones I'm thinking of, they've all admitted that they have it. So this will be very huge. So, um, I love it. Okay. And you were saying, and yes, as women, become into a truly healthy female, somebody who's worked through their wounds, somebody who's worked through their past trauma, from sex, can actually have the most amazing sex life. And look at what George is experiencing now. I'm sure she's like, probably, if you were to ask her, I would love to have the two of you on at one point, because I'd love to be able to ask both of you as a couple, because you both are like, almost like a power couple, is what I would see, on a journey together of growth. And so you can share with others that are also in the same situation that you're in. And it's funny, I was thinking as you were talking, you two are starting your life, right? You're starting your life, you're getting married. Okay. Well, I'm in a place, and I have a bunch of people around me where we're becoming empty nesters, learning how to even figure out each other again. Like, ew, who are you? Right? So your way of communicating and talking to each other can be incorporated to those empty nesters, people who are, you know, who are just becoming, learning about each other again.
Yeah, beautiful. Is there any specific question off the back end of that, or just thoughts in general?
You what?
Any questions specific? Any questions specifically off that, or just thoughts in general?
No, that was it. I just was, I thought that, yeah, everything you have to say is very good. So, anything else you want to share with everyone?
Nothing specifically. Like I always enjoy our conversations. I love how authentic you are, and the fact that you obviously dive into these conversations because they're taboo and they shouldn't be spoken about. But then then it becomes a problem because people don't know what the fuck they're doing because no one's talking about it. So it's I love that you're adding value to people that like it's taken me. I've been doing on my self growth for about 10 years now, and I feel like I'm only just getting started and starting to really lean into the depths of who I am. And yeah, like to have people like you who are sharing your message and other people's messages to help people in an area which, fuck, it can. When there's that same woman, Kim Anami, Georgia, has done her program, and it's called the Well Fucked Woman program. And it's around like when you're a well fucked woman, from my understanding, I haven't done the course, but from my understanding, like a well fucked woman is liberated. She glides, she heals, she radiates love and femininity and strength. And so that's the power of having fucking great sex. And for a man, it's very liberating and strong and empowering and calming and grounding. It's like there's so much that sex has to offer. And yeah, I think you're just doing such a great service to the world. So I hope someone got some value from today's conversation, and I look forward to having further conversations. I think Georgia would be definitely down to come on for a conversation. We're pretty open about our sex life. Obviously, I do content on it, so we're pretty open about that because she's very passionate about it as well. So,
and we don't have to talk about the sex, but the connection. I love the connection is really powerful. And I know that you and I talked about her journey in the beginning, that she had not done a whole lot of self-help work. And so she could share her journey with others about how did she get started, and was it uncomfortable, and was it weird, and then, but it's okay. And once you get past, you know what I mean? Like, because everyone needs to start somewhere. So I love the fact that she was willing, even because I want people to not be intimidated by someone like yourself or someone like me. Oh gosh, I have to be right where he's at. That's not true. We're growing together. We're all people growing together. We all have stuff to offer. So whatever we need to do to get together and work on being together the best way we can, in a healthy way, in a healthy manner, is the best, So that's all. So, well, thank you again. I appreciate it. I'm going to try my Irish here. Sláinte is Tanche, which is health and wellness in the new year. So
love it.
That
Thank you
is
so much.
Irish. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today, Lewis, on Let's Talk About Sex with Stephanie Smith. You have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.
And that was great having Lewis Huckstep back again for another session with us. Please go check him out. He is a mindset, business, and relationship coach, and he dedicates his life in helping you enhance your life and your career and your relationship. So go check him out. I really enjoy working with him. He's going to come back on for more sessions with me, and he's also going to bring Georgia. So I'm excited about that. Thank you so much, and have a fabulous day.